Let's get rid of some myths here because I've seen this done. This is not white lithium grease. This is a contact lube, non-conductive. If you have to reuse or have to clean that off, I would take my fingertip, pull off as much as I can and put it on something, cellophane, something like that. And then you can take and wipe that back on. It don't take as much as it's showing there, but it don't take a whole lot. Now in this picture, that's another myth. This is not red RTV high temp. It'll actually break down in some gear lubes, so you don't want to use that. That's a machine surface, and Toyota uses anaerobic. But you don't have to. You just got to have a RTV that's okay for gear lube. There's a ton of videos out there how to repair ADD. This video is how to check and see what portion of the ADD is going wrong. In this illustration, you'll see this is the exact numbers. So when we refer back to it, we'll know where our numbers is. I'm James Noble. Let's get to it. Now, before we disconnect anything, if you can, it's preferable still on the vehicle so nothing's jarred or changed. Remove our connector. Now, with our meter set to its lowest scale, now we want one lead to go to 1 and the other lead to go to 2. 1, 2, we want to see between 1.5 to 10 ohms resistance. Okay, if this is out of specs, we know it's inside the housing. We're going to have to disassemble it and look, see if it's the actual motor or the contacts. Now here's a shot inside our ADD. So this is the motor drive, and in the motor drive, 1 and 2 of our connector goes to these 2 points. What we don't know is which one is 1 and which one's 2. Logically, I would think this one would be 1, but that may not necessarily be true. So we really don't have to know which one is 1 and 2. We just need to know where 1 and 2 are. Now that we know where our motor drive circuit is, which is in 1 and 2, we can take an ohm meter and we'll put one lead here and one lead here. And we should get between 1.5 to 10 ohms resistance. Now for out of specs, we're going to open it up. We want to go to the inside terminals of the motor, put one test lead on this side, the other test lead on this side, and we want to have our 1.5 to 10 ohms resistance. Now if we're out of range, the motor is bad. But if we are in range, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take one side of our meter test lead, go here, take the other side of the meter test lead and go here. And that'll tell us if we've got a bad connection there. Same thing goes the other side. We're going to do the same thing. Second lead. We want to see below 1 ohm because we're checking continuity here. 1 ohm. And we don't see below 1 ohm resistance, then our problem is here. Same thing goes on the other side. Now by running these tests, we know exactly where our problem is. If we've got above 1 ohm here, that's our problem. And we can do whatever we need to do to fix it. If it's solder it, that's fine. By doing these tests, we know exactly where our problem has fell into. Now, these are not soldered connections. If you look here, you don't see any solder. That's why it came new. And it's probably to save money, but these is contact connections. Just the two rubbing against each other is where the connection is actually being formed. And we might get corrosion in between these two, causing a poor connection. And if you look, the way this is set up, see this strap? That strap is actually not, if you'll notice there's a gap here, that's just to hold the motor in place. It gives it, it allows it room to move back and forth just a little bit when it torques, when it gets from one end to the other. Okay, we hadn't opened it up. We've checked these two, 1 and 2, which is our motor drive like we done in the previous. It tested okay. Now we can move over and we'll test these 4 terminals. Now we're going to take 1 lead of our meter and we're going to go to 4. Now that's supposed to be grounded, so that's one that's going to feed the ground everything. So we're going to go 1 meter there, and we want to check the other 3. Now in 2-wheel drive, we're going to put 1 test lead on 4, the other test lead we want on 6, and we should get under 1 ohm resistance. Now this circuit is actually what tells the ECU that our connector is plugged in and that the circuit is in 2-wheel drive. Now with our test meter still set at its lowest scale and still hooked up to pin 4, we're going to move on to pin 3 and pin 5 and we should have 10,000 over 10,000 ohms resistance. Now, if everything's checked out okay so far, you may have a problem on your harness side. If any one or more of the tests didn't check out, we know it's inside our ADD. In our next test, I'll show you what each pin does. Okay, here's what happens. Okay, our four-wheel drive ECU sends us a reference, what is called a reference voltage. It'll send it to this pin, and this pin. And that lets it know what state the four-wheel drive's in and if our pigtail's actually plugged in. And pin 4 is going to a body ground. Now this reference voltage needs to be 10 plus volts. Now it's sending this reference voltage to pin 6, pin 5, and pin 3. Now in two-wheel drive, it should never see voltage on all three. If it does, then it detects a fault or our connector is not plugged in. Now if I see voltage on any one or all four of these, what I do is I'll have the connector connected, ignition switch on, in two-wheel drive. We should see no voltage on pin 6, so we should see 0 volts there, and then we should see 0 volts here. If I see voltage on this pin, then I've got a bad ground. If I see 10 plus volts, I know I've got a bad ground or this wire is open. Now, if I see 8 or less, then it could be just the ground has got a bad connection corrosion. Now, in this illustration, our circles in green represent under a half a volt. The lower it is, the better, but you can probably get up to a half a volt. And the red circles is representing 10 plus volts. So we want our ignition switch on, we want our battery fully charged, and we want to set our meter to 20 volts. And you'll notice that we've added a third green dot, and that tells the ECU that the motor is actually shifting. We're not in four-wheel drive, but we're moving to four-wheel drive. Now, once the ECU sees these three circles are under half a volt voltage, then it determines the motor's moving, and it's considered about the halfway mark. If you ever notice where your light is flashing, this is what it's in transition state, and you may have to move your truck forward or backwards before it'll go off. That's what's happening. It sees that the motor has moved and it's still trying to move the motor, but it can't lock in because the splines is not lined up. Now, if you look in this illustration, we've added the fourth green circle indicating pin 3 is now down below a half a volt. ECU is still considering this transition. That's about our 3/4 mark. That means our splines is lined up. Now you'll see in this illustration, we now have pin 6 is 10 plus volts. That tells the ECM or the ECU, four-wheel drive ECU, that we're fully engaged in four-wheel drive. That's our 100%. Now when running these tests, we need our front wheels off the ground so we can turn our wheels. We're checking voltage, not continuity, so we want it on voltage, and we want our battery to be at least around 12.5 volts. Now, in running all these tests where you have voltage, we've got to have our connector connected, and we're going to back probe these same wires. I'm James Noble. Hope I helped. Thank you for watching.